Ashutosh Tiwari joining in to talk fundamentals. Ashutosh, what has been your assessment of HDFC's performance?
We don't cover the bank, sorry.
Fair point. What about other banks though? Because clearly there's renewed conviction after what ICICI Bank and BOB have done.
Yeah, I think asset quality reduction will happen. So I think some of the banks can perform better in future basically. So we like ICICI Bank at current levels.
Okay. Ashutosh, do you think that, among the financials, the earnings that have come out so far have impressed the street, or is there more desired out of the underperformers?
I think it is mixed kind of performance, I would say. I think provisioning has increased for some of the banks. So I think, I think provisioning levels should come down going ahead because probably we are seeing some improvement in economy. So I think that should come down.
How are you positioning yourself when it comes to the metal sector?
So I think there's some bit of correction in the prices if I look at last 1 month or so because of the monsoon getting in. So I think there will be some pressure on the stock. So I think second half, so we should see some recovery on metal prices.
Okay, and what are your top ideas from the metal space?
So we don't have much coverage per se in metals, but I think we like some ideas in the auto space.
Run with your auto ideas. What are your top auto ideas?
So currently we like Amara Raja batteries and Lumex Industries. So if you look at Amara Raja, I think the company has not done so well over the last 2 years. The EPS was flattish because of the pain in telecom sector. But I think largely the telecom pain through has come in the numbers, and its contribution to overall EBITDA and sales has come down. While on the other side, the automotive has been growing quite well for last 2 years, and that will continue to grow well. We are seeing some signs of shift to organize as well in the truck segment. So I think overall automotive will remain strong. And from this year, we'll start again the EPS growth coming back to Amara Raja. So we're looking almost like 17-18% EPS CAGR over the next 2 years. I think stock should do well from here.
So far, what is it that as a house you've made of the earnings season, and what are the earnings that have stood out for you besides banks, which we've already discussed?
So I think largely the earnings have been in line, bearing 1 or 2 cases basically. And I think if you look at a lot of places, the volume growth has been pretty strong. I think rural has been recovering well, and that is driving the growth for a lot of companies in our coverage space.
Okay, and what's your house view on infrastructure space, especially L&T, because we have seen that as markets are moving higher, L&T sometimes is doing pretty well, but the consistency is not there. From fundamental perspective, how at Equirus you guys are mapping the developments in the company and sector at large?
No, we don't cover L&T.
Let's take some technical trades then, because L&T is one stock which we have been observing a lot of short formation in that stock, and that's one key name one should keep eye on when it comes to markets. Even Infosys is at the lowest point of the day, down by 1.5%. Dr. Narayan, not a bad market. If you look at banking space, ICICI Bank is up by 5%, but the pain is in HDFC Bank. So, but overall Bank Nifty is still up by 200%. Nifty is up by 40 points or so. So we can't complain about this market, though some of the key names are coming down. In this context, what can be a trading idea one can adopt?
Well, it is a stock-specific market, and there is enough action going on in every sphere. Although entire sector may not be performing, many of the stocks from each sector are. So within the metal space, I think JSW Steel is the one that I would pick at the moment. 325, 326 currently. I think that's a stock to buy. Results were pretty decent, and I think markets are also receiving that well. Looking for a target at about 333, 335, buy with a stop at 320.
Well, auto space, apart from Maruti, that's only one stock which is doing pretty well, and I'm talking about large cap. Escorts is also one of the stock in auto space which has been doing pretty well for itself positionally, not in today's trading session. M&M, now after decent consolidation and almost 2.5, 3 months, stock is spent in this range with 880 on the lower side, 930, 935 on the higher side. Today we are seeing a move which can, ensure breach of this consolidation zone? I understand, your call might be, from 2 days, 3 days perspective, but let's talk from, bit medium term perspective. How far M&M can go from here? What are the potential?
So the potential is extremely high. Probability is also very high, Siddharth, that the move can begin and resume for Mahindra and Mahindra. But the only catch over here, or the only concern, is that it's a very low beta name. So it's not a stock which goes into strong and swift uptrends, and in terms of price appreciation also, it's more of staggered and steady in terms of price, and which is why I think if you're trying to ride the market trend, then M&M could be the other large cap stock. Just like we were discussing ITC, I think last week odd, I think now M&M is also ready for a breakout. But from a short term view, I think 960 to 970 could be a target range, and that call is almost 3 to 4 days. Stop loss to be kept at 910 on M&M.
Manas, last trading session we did discuss with you that how, if market is stabilizing, making new highs for itself, and mid cap is making a comeback, you have, since last 2 trading sessions, you have stuck to this buying mid cap theme. And Dredging Corporation, Greaves Cotton also figure out in that space, the name in that space. What are your observation on charts when it comes to these 2 names?
Siddharth, Dredging Corporation is a buy because I think stock was making lower tops and lower bottoms from the level of 900. But now it seems that there are some reversal signs. Stock has that RSI, on RSI you can see some positive divergence. Stock has already broken the resistance of 490. So I'm not saying this is a trend reversal for medium to long term, but certainly you can play for a bounce back. I think stock can again test its recent high of 550. So take a long position here and keep the stop loss below 489. And second is Greaves Cotton, where the trend is very clear. The stock is making higher tops and higher bottoms from the level of 120. Today it has already broken the resistance of 146, and I think it is running towards its all-time high of 175. So my target would be around 160 for next 1 or 2 trading sessions, and take a long position here and keep the strict stop loss below 145.
Ashutosh, we spoke about one of your top auto calls. I also believe that you, aside of Amarajas, like Lumax Industries, could you take us through your rationale there? You have a price target of 2803.
So basically, if you look at the automotive new launches, most of the models are now coming up with LED lights. The content of LED is increasing in the automotive side, and these LED lights cost almost 2.5x to almost 7 to 8x also of traditional halogen lamps. So there will be strong value growth for company over the next 2-3 years. If you look at even Q1 result, they have grown almost 46% YOY in terms of sales. I think we will see a very strong sales as well as profit growth over the next 2-3 years.
Any other conviction buys from you, Ashutosh, besides Lumax?
So we also look at Apollo Tires. I think they are leaders in the TBRS space, and that segment is doing quite well after the Chinese anti-dumping duty. And I think the volume growth for them will be very, very strong. So we like that also.
Okay. Ashutosh, thanks very much for joining us and giving us your perspective on the markets, and also highlighting your high conviction ideas.